Welcome to the Molybdenum Software Show after a hiatus
Hello.
because of don't find it as thrilling to record these alone, even though I've been working on some stuff myself solo. It's probably much more entertaining for the audience as well, with both me and Jeremy.
Yeah. I don't like talking to myself out loud. So
So I've published. Did you see files? Published two
yes,
projects.
you sent me a link to that. That's a Flake parts module for declaratively managing get ignored generated files. Is that right? Or are they
I
tracks, I
think with
guess?
some, it's more you get to declare the files in Flake parts options, whatever files you want written in your project relative to the Git root.
Mhm.
And then you get a command for free that can write them into the Git root. So whether they are, so you'd probably put that command in your dev shell, but you can, I don't know, that's all I've been doing. Maybe there are other ways of using it, and I've been using it to generate files that would eventually be checked in.
I see.
Such as a README and GitHub Actions workflow files.
Got it. Cool. Yeah, I can see how GitHub Actions would be kind of a killer use case for that kind of. I mean, I guess it'd be interesting to see how you're using it, because for me, GitHub Actions these days is just Nix Flake check and do everything in Nix Flake check. But maybe it's more convenient to define multiple jobs because you get better UX in the GitHub UI, and you can define your jobs split across your Flake.
So, do you want to share screen, take a look at how I did exactly that?
Sure.
In my infra repo.
Oh, you are my second most frequented infra repo. Here we go.
Whom hast thou heart prefereth over
What's the other infra repo?
Yeah.
Nixos /infra.
Okay, so I am first.
First amongst humans. All right. Man, am I this is not going slow. Oh, am I pulling in like all your sub-modules? Is that what is going on?
I think you're pulling in the entire Nix packages history.
Because that's one of your sub-modules.
Yes, but technically because
Oof.
it's a branch, not because it's a sub.
Oh, okay. I'm pulling in all the branches. Yeah, wow. Okay.
For the record, you don't have to.
This is the default behavior of get pull, but you can configure it to do other things.
Yes, as well. Yes, because it's a ref. Because it's a branch, it's a ref, and your each remote has like a ref, the name of the remote, and then dot fetch dot spec or something.
Mm-hmm.
Fetch dot ref spec or something, and that defines what will be fetched by default and where. It's like a mapping, right?
But to actually use the stuff here, I would need to clone these branches, right? Or to fetch these branches.
Yes, and that's the second project I wanted to share with you. Input branches,
Okay. Yes.
which by now has been turned into a little bit of a project.
Mhm.
Where before it was just, hey, this is like how I've been doing it for myself. So you can take a look at find a file called ci.nix, or look at the generated workflow files,
Okay,
whatever
but I
order.
have to wait for this, right? I'm pretty far behind here.
You could cancel it and fetch a single branch, fetch the main branch.
Something like that. I don't know.
N-
Okay. Git pull. No, that's not. That's going to do the same thing.
Git fetch origin main,
It says
and
I'm
then
up
you
to date
can.
with origin main, huh? Oh, okay. 2 days ago. All right, I'm not sure what command I ran that changed my head, but that's fine. Just the place to look.
ci.nix, yes. So the pain with GitHub workflows and composing them, and the best checking you can get is like the YAML schema, but that doesn't help you beyond. Doesn't tell you that, especially if you're doing. So what I did. One job does a Nixflake. It does a Nix eval with some apply to obtain the names of all the checks.
Okay.
The names of all the checks. And then a subsequent matrix kind of job expands to become one job per each flake check. And that runs a Nix build, the dot hash, that check.
Okay.
And that works. But the whole thing, and it's nice that you see all these identifiers here. I can extract them and reuse them. So in Nix,
Sure.
so it doesn't break for silly reasons when I make changes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really nice.
The README, and then the GitHub actions are here. Files.files, path equals file path. What is that? Okay. Got it. Okay, yeah, and then it makes sense that, yeah, that's like the README would get updated and to include some information about this. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then the parts get stitched together somewhere else.
Yes. But
Okay. Yeah, cool. And
that's not published.
What do you mean it's not published?
This particular option, text.readme, and the order that you see here, that is native to this repo.
Oh, I see. It's not part of the flake parts module you were talking about.
Correct.
The flake parts module you created. Okay. But I mean, this smells similar. I don't know if you were thinking of the work we were doing with Markdown Book, but this reminds me of what we were doing, where it's like give names to the chapters, and then we agonized a
Yes.
bit about if the order of the chapters should be decentralized, and we agreed, no, actually, it kind of makes sense to have a single table of contents centralized, and this feels very similar to me. So,
Yes, it
this
did remind me. I was thinking of that as well. Yes.
makes sense. Yeah, this seems very reasonable. And
But
then,
mhm.
oh no, go ahead.
So this works, and you can see in GitHub Actions how nicely, and this repo has many checks, so it's nice to see which ones fail without going into the log.
It's not YAML, it's JSON. Oh, cute. Makes sense.
It's JSON. It took me a while, and then somehow I found out. Wait, because there is no YAML writer.
Mhm.
But then I figured the YAML writer is JSON writer.
Right. Got it. Makes sense. It needs to happen just to avoid a IFD? Like, could you not do it in a derivation?
To
Like where
convert
you
it
have
to
access to
proper
a
YAML.
tool to convert, like, I don't know, JSON to YAML, or it's just not worth doing.
I was just satisfied with this. I
Got it.
didn't think of it.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
I was just
'Cause,
like,
yeah, this is
I can
really,
do this. Okay, done.
yeah, cool, neat. Okay, so let's see. I'm not very good with GitHub Actions. Jobs is not a list; it's a object. And then there's check, just steps. Okay, and so the matrix is from JSON needs to get check names out. Oh boy. This is above my pay grade. Needs get check name. Okay, so this is some other. Okay, so there's a dependency between jobs here. This has an output. Okay. All right. Okay. So this like outputs all the checks or something
Yes.
as a bash expression. Is that what this is? That's something. Okay.
It echoes a certain format that GitHub output variable.
Oh, okay. It's not bash. It's just the way the GitHub action outputs work.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I see. So this dot checks right here is referring to this thing.
Yes.
Cool. So, I mean, I guess like the way I'm reading this, it doesn't seem like you're relying upon adding all your checks to Nixflake check, and then you explode that out into a bunch of jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So like this
That's
could
what
be
strategy matrix means.
what's the benefit of managing this in Nix, I guess, like versus a YAML file that never changes.
Just writing that YAML file before it never changes. Because you saw your like near agony of reading this. Imagine writing this. You have nothing to help you. And the only way to check that this works is either to keep pushing to some branch and waiting
Sure.
way too long,
Mm-hmm.
or to try some third-party tool that attempts its best to reproduce GitHub Actions locally, and I never tried that.
Yeah. Well, I guess what I'm saying is like, maybe to say what I was saying in a slightly different way, could this pattern, and I just don't know enough about GitHub Actions, but this pattern of like, take all the checks and then run them as like a matrix or something, like, could this all get wrapped up as like a shared GitHub action? that would just like then be referenced in every individual project with just a couple lines of YAML.
I'd love for that to be the case, but and maybe it could, but there are some details that I'm not sure that this stuff is. I'm not sure what the thing that can be extracted is, while different projects want to use this different Nix installers, different Nix cache actions.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure how to extract it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the other benefit I could see is like, right, running checks is not the only thing you do in CI, right? Like there's also like releasing, and that's not like something standardized in the Nix ecosystem. Like
But they do
checks are
compose.
arguably.
The actions do compose, like they're designed to compose. So, for example, one thing that can be quite easily extracted here is the job that obtains the check names.
Mm-hmm.
And then take that, use the output from that job and do whatever you want.
Yeah.
It gets you a little bit of something you don't need to figure out anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And it's quite trivial because it's just an Nix eval. You're not even building anything.
Yeah, I wonder if you're even caching anything.
No. In that step?
Well, in this job, does it actually
Oh.
build anything that's worth caching?
Oh, why is the cache action there? I was thinking maybe that cache action supports evaluation cache.
Oh. Yeah, I have no idea.
I didn't check, so I just left it there.
Got it. Well, cool. And then check.yaml. Write JSON, and then this takes Nix. Okay, cool. All right, so I see the relationship. And then steps.checkout. So this is, where does this come from? Oh, okay, I see. This is just some shared. Okay. Neat. I suppose one downside of this is now you have to update these things somehow. Like with just a regular old workflow YAML file, Dependabot or whatever can update those.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean this is a bad idea. Just implies more tooling somewhere. Maybe these could even be non-flake inputs or something. And you could like have them reference the SHAs or something, and update them when you do next flake update.
Interesting.
But yeah, this is super cool.
But it all fails.
Okay.
I mean,
why does it fail?
It runs for larger checks that require more disk space. Despite my best efforts to use things that
oh yeah, I saw
nothing but Nix.
Nothing but Nix. That's the one that like does something with Btrfs and does like a background garbage collect or something.
Yes, so it did work. And then I didn't track exactly the change that I made, and then started. I didn't make change to workflow. I just kept modifying my configurations, and I'm not waiting for
Sure.
CI to pass. I'm just pushing. I'm checking locally,
Mhm.
and then pushing stuff, and then at some
Yeah.
point it doesn't work anymore, and it's a nice to have anyway. So I don't know how much I'm willing to
I
put into trying to.
yeah, optimizing stuff to fit into whatever GitHub Actions is capable of does not sound like a rewarding engineering exercise. So unless you had to do it for some reason, I agree. I wouldn't be motivated. But that is a bummer.
The error message I get is as recently not even the obvious ran out of disk space. It's also not, the thing that tells you you ran out of disk space is some arbitrary thing at some arbitrary point.
Mm-hmm. Tried to create
And
a file and
some
couldn't.
programs,
space or something.
yeah, some programs make it obvious that's what happened, and other programs err in
Sure.
opaque way.
Yeah. Yeah, that's no fun.
But for many projects, this is just fine.
Mm-hmm.
So because I have a big NixOS with GNOME and some programs, and LibreOffice, all adds up, and
Yep.
heck, I recently said, you know what? The solution to my fonts problem is to include in my PCs the complete Google Fonts package.
Mm-hmm.
It's 700 megabytes.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, not too big for one personal computer, but annoying to deal with in every CI run.
And then there's input branches,
Right.
which
Yeah,
I've
so
showed
we
you
did talk a bit
the
about that.
pattern in general.
Sorry, say that again?
Yeah, I showed you the pattern in general, and you
Yeah.
were not interested enough to try it out. But now it's more than a pattern; it's a flake parts module, but I've also looking into it more and trying to document it properly and trying to test it. And I did test it. It's now tested in recursive Nix
Oh, wow.
in like as a user would use it.
Slick.
It's like, but it's like so. It's such a workaround, and I'm like concerned that it will break because Nix will change something that they would never consider, and it would break this completely. I mean, I hope it won't be necessary because we will get
Yeah.
flake input patching from Nix itself.
Me too.
But for now, it works for me. So I'm using it, and I put it out there. Maybe it'll help someone else as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the thing that, say in the future, Nix gets core support for, has a patch primitive or support for patching flake inputs even. Would you see your tooling getting re-implemented in terms of that, or do you see your tooling disappearing?
I don't know. You have to look at how the feature is. What's the interface to use that?
Mm-hmm.
The entire inputs feature is that the interface for it is like all the inputs are in one file, and there's nothing dynamic about them. That expression must be
it's some
static.
weird subset of Nix.
So I don't like you can't evaluate your way into something there. So you have to write a tool that edits Nix I think Flake inputs actually belong in TOML, something like TOML, rather than in some, like you said, strict subset of Nix.
Yeah, make it clear that your hands are tied here. Because yeah, it is weird when you're learning Nix and then you see a Flake file for the first time, and some parts of it are full Nix, and some parts of it are, yeah, these like static expressions. I don't know what the right term is.
Mm-hmm. I think the right term is literal. It's
Literals. Okay.
only
There we
literal.
go. Man, that took a while.
Yes. Sorry for the disk space usage. But now you can possibly try it. I think so. If Nix packages was not part of this,
Oops, did my mouse just die? Uh-oh. Sorry, I just lost my mouse. Extra experimental features. I'll go without the mouse for a moment here. Pipe operators. Flake show. Okay, things are happening. Anything you want me to try here?
everything's a bit of a hassle because of Nix packages. But that's like it's good feedback to have for me, because there is no in this idea, context of this idea, there's no good solution for that, other than the only thing I could think of is to support shallow clones. Shallow. There. This is not a clone. No clones are involved. It's called imported branches.
Mm-hmm.
This repository imports the a branch, the whatever Nix packages unstable branch of Nix packages.
Got it.
So I think it would be far more practical to use shallow import branches, but I didn't implement that yet.
Yeah, I have no conception of what the performance benefits are of shell. I guess, yeah, because Git is not diff-based. You can just download the latest thing directly, and all diffs are what computed on the fly with Git. Is that the way it works?
I don't know how it works. All I know is that you get the latest tree,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a directory in the .git which has which can have a file which is I forgot the term. It's like it represents the missing history for that specific directory.
Oh, I see. It's like okay. It's like where the history would be, there's something that identifies that it's missing.
I think it's not where the history would be. It's a special place
Oh,
for
okay.
those.
Got it. All right. I guess my battery in my mouse died. I'll be right back. Hello.
Mm-hmm. So uh, I think can you do a git submodule status, please? You see those minuses, minus signs? I think if that means that it's simply not initialized, like if you look into those directories, there's nothing. They're empty.
Okay.
And that means that your Nix Flake show worked because it's called it's a that
I don't know.
URL dot / means it's has a special meaning. It means it's recursive. It's like the remote for that repo, that submodule, is the same as the like primary remote for this one.
Okay.
And I think that, yeah, it's like what is the primary one? It's the remote of the remote tracking branch of the current branch.
Okay. Sounds plausible.
Yeah, it's a bit of a. I don't know whether this is on solid foundations. So why did it even work? Why could you do a Nix Flake show? It's because what Nix does is, even though if you look at flake.nix, the input for these inputs, home manager, statics, and Nix packages, the path is a path okay. Even though the path is a path, the URL is a path. Nix chose to fetch it via Git.
Got it. And it's doing like the equivalent of a deep clone or whatever.
Deep clone.
Or why did I say clone recursive? Like there's a command you can run, right, when cloning a repo that says initialize the submodules.
Well, if you go to the top, I think you'll see input self submodules true.
Oh, okay.
But I don't think that's
I don't know what this
what's
is.
happening. This tells Nix. This is the same as you would do for any input. You could do submodules true for a Git fetch Git fetched input.
So by default, it does not initialize the submodules.
Right. It does not fetch them.
Well, like concretely, the source of the flake that gets copied into the Nix store, which is like right there's like code. There's a directory that gets created in the Nix store, and it does include. Right. Like by that point, it's no longer a Git universe, right? It's just files in the Nix store.
Yes. I don't think there's a reasonable way around it. It would have to, after cloning the super project, it would have to initialize the submodules in place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that sounds plausible.
One of the restrictions of this pattern and project input branches is that the super project must be a work tree.
It's not a work tree right now.
Correct. And if it is a work tree, then your Nixflex show, I want to be correct. I hope I'm correct. It would have failed. Because when it's a work tree, the submodules are also, and another restriction, the submodules also need to be work trees. But that's usually the case when it's a work tree, when the super project is a work tree. And then it would have failed because in a work tree submodule that is also a work tree, you don't get a .git that is populated with things. You get a .git that is
it's like a
just
file that has a path.
File, right? And I suppose Nix sees that and says, I don't know, I'm not going to follow into the clone that this refers to and figure that out. I'm just going to fail fetching. I'm going to defer to like try to fetch it by path. And that's actually what I want to happen in this pattern.
Okay. So the thing happening on my computer is not what you want to have happen.
Right.
Okay.
Because it must be a work. But this is like, so you see how shaky the foundations of this are.
Sure.
It must be a work tree. The submodules must be a work tree. So I had to and now, in testing this, because I didn't know that. How would I know that? This only happens to be working for me because I'm using a work tree.
Sure.
And when trying to test it in the Nix sandbox, I was not using a work tree. Why would I use a work tree?
Sure.
And it didn't work. And I was not pulling my hair out of strict discipline.
Yeah.
I in the shower, why is it working? It's the same version of Nix. And I even tried. Well, you know what? In the sandbox, I tried. My fetching was not over the network. All my cloning and the remotes were by path.
Sure.
And I said, okay, and maybe by path Nix does something else. So Git provides a command called git daemon, which is like a bare bones daemon for fetching, for being a service that you can fetch via the Git protocol. So I put that up in the sandbox. It was not difficult, but
got it.
Eventually, in the shower, I was like, oh, I'm using work trees. That's the difference. And I tried that.
Jeez,
that did the trick. So documenting this and testing and all this work, and I don't think anyone's using it but me. Probably.
Right, and we're all hoping that all this goes away someday, because Nix will hopefully have core support for patches. Well, sounds like you learned a lot, and learning more about recursive Nix is useful because I'm hoping we'll get back to the doc testing stuff someday. So
likewise.
Yeah. And knowing the rate at which Nix stuff moves, you probably will derive value from this for quite some time before you feel like you can get rid of it. So hopefully it pays off.
Maybe I'll even implement shallow imported branches. Even for me, I'm using more than one computer.
Yep. Cool. Well, I've also got my thing. Nobody's left any comments on it. But I did, out of curiosity, the other day I searched and I did find that 2 people on GitHub are using it. So that's exciting. We'll see. I guess there are other people like me who, do all their development on x86 or whatever. So the fact that you have to hard code a system doesn't bother them. So looking forward to being able to delete that project. I don't think it was as much of a nightmare to build as what you're describing, but I did have to like debug some recursive data structures, and I was like, I don't have a lot of tools in my tool belt for this stuff. I basically
Mhm.
got to read the code. I don't know if you stumbled across it before. The code in Nix, CPP Nix, that imports flakes, which is actually written in Nix. It's like the built-in stack get flake, effectively what it does under the hood. I
No.
had to copy some of that code because it wasn't built-in stack get flake doesn't let you point it at built-in stack get flake when run in pure mode wants to know that there's a lock file that it can like refer to verify that the thing it's pulling is locked. And so I had to read that code and like re-implement a simpler version of it. So it was fun. Definitely an educational experience. But hopefully I can delete it someday.
And there was that Nix Funct or Nix null ls or
Oh
none
yeah.
ls.
So does this now explain why you've been? Is it related to this? Is that what your
No,
submodules and stuff? A different project.
that's in. Well, it is in this project in input. I think in both files and input branches.
Mm-hmm.
These two projects, I have a flake for development that lives in a subdirectory,
Okay.
and that simply does not work with. I don't even know what further modifications I need to do to get that to work. The flake in the root has only the thing that is useful to the user.
Okay. This is a way to have like development dependencies.
Yes, it's not the only way. I am going to try a different way, which is called. It's a feature by FlakeParts. It's called partitions.
I think I've stumbled across those docs.
But it's also a wrapper over an additional flake.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not. It's supposed to be nicer because you still have a single flake part evaluate. Actually, I don't want to say that. I think that's wrong. I think you might have multiple flake parts evaluation that merge somehow. I don't really know how it works yet, and I haven't tried it.
Okay.
But your additional development flake will be used via the top level one.
Mm-hmm.
So things like Nix Funct would work normally. I don't expect any problem there. It's like the evaluation. The evaluation would of anything that needs the additional flake would only. I don't even know how it works, like I said, but somehow the evaluation will be. I
Yeah, are
think
flake inputs
it
fetched lazily?
possibly.
Is that the key?
I don't know because they're not right. Like if a flake depends on a flake, well, that's all static, right? And we don't have lazy trees yet, so that's all static.
Well,
And maybe those partitions.
lazy trees is about something different though.
Is it?
Lazy trees is not about your inputs, it's about the current flake and avoiding copying it to the next door. I mean, flake inputs might actually be fetched lazily. What's an easy way to? Okay, could I verify that with a flake with a bogus input?
But how would you know that something is fetched or not?
Maybe
Can
something
use
enormous like Chromium.
well. I think actually that the Nix verbose flag with like 2 or 3 V's will let you know what's fetched when.
Oh, okay. Well, here, let's try this. What will this do? And if I go chromium.url equals GitHub colon. All right, so that's like a big input. Nix flake show. That sure seems to be downloading a tarball. Yeah, so I think that's not. But hold on, maybe Nix flake show is not a good example. Because maybe that. Oh, can I not kill this? Bummer.
Maybe the unpacking program is not good at stopping.
Aha! Hopefully I didn't corrupt something. So if I do Nix REPL dot, no, that's still, yeah, that does that. Okay, and then if I do Nix build dot hash hello, that also forces the download of, yeah, so. Yeah, I agree with you. There doesn't seem to be anything lazy going on there.
So I don't know how partitions actually do that. Maybe they parse the additional flake. Who knows? Maybe they use built-ins.getFlake lazily. That may be the thing.
Yep.
So, in those two projects, in files and input branches, I did not have the non-ls Nix flake from source. Not only did I not have it, but every time I hit save, I had an error, and I just powered through that.
That sounds very annoying. With what you were doing, if you were at the root of the repo and you ran Nix FMT, what would happen?
There is no.
Would it say there is no formatter?
I suppose whatever it says when there's no formatter.
Yeah.
There's no formatter. There's just what the user wants.
Okay. And I mean, I agree that like none-ls shouldn't, or I shouldn't say I agree. I should say we definitely don't want none-ls or NeoVim like crashing in this scenario. But I guess what I'd expect it to do with the scenario you described is just not
Clone
format
it.
things. Okay. ITIM something?
Files or input branches. I think it's the same.
Here we go. Okay.
Open up your well.
And does this flake not have inputs? Why is there no lock file? Okay.
I don't know. Why?
Because it doesn't.
No... Wait.
It doesn't have inputs.
What?
That's why.
Oh.
because it's all pure Nix. Is that right?
Yes, the top level one is.
It doesn't even depend on Nix packages. So I see. Okay, I see why you wanted to minimize, because at the point that you're not pulling in Nix packages, that's pretty small footprint. That does not work. But if I do something like module.nix, allow, does not provide attribute blah, which I expect to see. Okay, and then just keep saying it. Is this what you were experiencing?
My errors don't show up there. They show up at the bottom. Like, I have to press enter to dismiss the error.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, this is noisy, but not nearly as annoying as what you're describing.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think ideally it would remember. I already checked to see if this thing provides a formatter.
Why do you think I'm getting the error differently?
I mean, you have this same thing as me, right? I got this from you, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that.
You want to see it?
Sure.
What it looks like? Maybe you'll get an idea.
Are we using different versions of the NoneLS plugin? Are you using NeoVim nightly?
No.
Don't know if that could matter. You're on NeoVim 0.11, right? That came out somewhat recently.
Whatever Nix packages unstable has.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. Show me what you got.
That's what I got.
Unable to build blah. Discovering does not provide attribute. Are we unable to build blah? It's the exact same error message, just in a very different place.
And it seems to be blocking. Notice? Like, all this is not. Even the spinnaker stopped.
Yeah, that's like an echo or something from like. Yeah, NeoVim. Anella. What is this? Unable to build. I'm just trying to like look at the code. Okay, yeah, so log warn is what I'm using here. Log : warn, which is from the NoneLS logger. I wonder if it does different things under the hood based on other aspects of our config. So sorry, let me show you the code I'm looking at. Entire screen, here we go. So on the left here, this is NoneLS, the NixFlake Funct built in. Oh shit. I bet I know what it is. You've got the newer version of Nix, right? So you're not using legacy. You're using the new code that uses the Nix formatter subcommand. I bet that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we run job. If status is not 0. Oh, but no, wait. Okay. That's what you're seeing, right? Unable to build Nix Funct entry point, stood error, whatever.
Build Nix Funct entry point, stood error, whatever.
Yeah. Okay, so that's not it. So then I wonder if this log warn does different things on our machines? This comes from, is this like something you can easily just do? Like if I do Lua, warn. Yeah. What if you do that? I'll share this with you. I assume that's going to cause the same blocking sort of whatever for you.
Could you do this on Matrix? Share it on Matrix.
Yes. There you go.
Okay. Enter. Now I am sure. Here. It's printed at the bottom, same place as you saw the previous warn from Nonetheless printing, but I'm not. It's not blocking. I still have the spinner spinning, and I'm not prompted to press enter. I still see it there. I see nonetheless higher.
But it ends up at the bottom.
Ends up at the bottom.
Okay. What if you make the text really long? Like long enough to wrap or something?
Yeah, sure. Text really long enough to wrap. Okay. That's long. Yes. Now
Okay.
I have press enter, type command to continue.
All right. So I think the question is about why my log warn behaves differently than yours. Like, why does mine get handled by?
I have an idea.
Yep.
It seems to me like yours shows up at that little widget.
Right.
Maybe that when you configure that widget of yours, you also enabled an additional feature that it will print warnings, and I did not.
Maybe.
Now I don't have your screen.
Or is it possibly a NeoVim version thing? Do you remember what the name of that widget is? I don't remember.
It's the curse of NeoVim. You don't know, set stuff up. You don't know.
Diagnostics, notifications, fidget. Hey, look at that. What do you think that is?
I don't see. Hold on.
Override Vim notify. I bet that's it.
Where? Which one? Oh, on the right.
Yeah.
Fidget settings notification override Vim notify. Okay. So we suffer kind of the same problem, but yours is lessened by it never blocking.
Right. And then, I mean, what would be neat and would probably not be terribly difficult would be what is it, formatter? If we could deduce from this subprocess invocation, like the distinction between something went wrong versus no, there just isn't an entry point. Like that would probably be a fun little PR to Nix itself, to maybe like define a special status code or something. Like if it exits 404, that means it's not there, or something like that. And then we could cache the negative, just say like, oh yeah, we successfully discovered that there is no formatter, and not bug the user about it over and over again.
Can't you use like Nix eval to figure that out?
Yeah, I'm sure it's possible with some eval command. that's effectively this legacy code, right? Like, here's the eval command from before, which like,
Whoa! I did not mean such. No, hold on. What it? Isn't it just like the formatter? Isn't it just like what is the? Because I'm thinking something like nix eval dot hash,
yeah,
and
you need the
then
current system.
there's an apply.
You do need the current system, right?
Okay, yeah, you can get it from outside of Nix, right? Like you can.
Yeah, which is what this code does, right? It like stitches in, building up this Nix expression in Lua and interpolating the current system in. And yeah, you'd like say, does it have a formatter for the system? And like this code did actually detect that, right? It said this flake does not define a formatter for system blah, or does not define any formatters. Like there was some nice nuance here that's going to go away. But I figured I didn't want to like complicate my PR to Nix. I figured that could maybe be a future thing. And deleting this terrifying code seemed worth it.
Well, the future is nigh. Is it the nigh correct word?
Sure. Yep. So that could be a fun hack. Is basically like somehow make this information available. And yeah, maybe we do it with Nix eval, or maybe we, add something to this formatter command, like this formatter subcommand to, I don't know what the best, cleanest way of doing it is. But my goal with this formatter subcommand was to try to make it easier for people to build editor integrations. Because I would love for every editor to have like a Nix FMT, auto formatter. Because I feel like a lot of people like do weird shit, like globally configure their editor to use like some specific version of Nix FMT on like all Nix files that they open. And it's like, I mean, you and I mobbed with people that had configurations like that, and it was very frustrating, right? Like they were using the wrong editor, or using the wrong formatter, or using a formatter when we weren't ready to do any auto formatting yet because we were going to add that later or something.
Yes. I think exit code probably good enough for that.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be I think that would be a pretty simple PR to Nix. So, happy to work on it sometime if you want to spend a few hours on it.
I think we're spending, especially today, quite a lot of time getting up to date and sharing some arbitrary things. Would you let me steal that fidget?
Yeah, do you want me to share that with you?
Actually, is it what happens? Does it go away? Like does it have like a timeout in which it clears? Because I want to be able to read the messages, the warnings.
Yeah, that's the problem with it is, yeah, they do go away. And so I think there's some way to view the history of these with Fidget, but I don't.
With Fidget?
Maybe I'm wrong about that. It sure seems like it would be a nice
Is there a
feature
way
for
to view
Fidget.
the warning history in Neofim?
Well, I mean, I don't actually know what this does. Maybe this thing monkey patches Vim notify. So there's like multiple questions here. Help notify. Displays notification to the user can be overridden by plugins to display notifications using a custom provider. By default, writes to messages. So that's what you were experiencing. Doesn't say here if there's a history. vim.notify. Let's see. It's gonna be like notify equals nope. Where would this function be? Function dot start notify. Here we go. Editor. Notify. Here we go. Displays the notification to the user, can be overridden by plugins. Chunks. It's a weird name for that variable. I don't know what that means. nvim echo.
I see. So there's no registry for those, and it just by default goes to echo, and then there's a question: do echoes get registered somewhere?
I don't even see what the mechanism is for overriding this. Is it
replaces the
literally like
function. Yeah.
you're supposed to just monkey patch vim.notify? Or
That's what it says, right?
yeah,
This function can be overridden.
right. Well, override to me sounds like an object-oriented thing, but yeah, you're probably right. That this is here for monkey patching purposes. Interesting. And then yeah, it does not seem likely that there is a. Where would this be? This one might be in C code.
So we need, if we want that, we need a plugin that also remembers these.
Or maybe NeoVim wouldn't be opposed to it being a core feature.
Maybe.
But let's see if Fidget has this. So Fidget, NeoVim. Does it have a history? Yep. So it has.
How do I see history? Subcommands.
Show notifications history.
We could have guessed that. Okay.
Fidget history. Which didn't do anything. -- since. Maybe I need to actually have something in my history. What was it? Lua vim.notify Haya? There we go. And then if I try. Oh, look at that. I had 2. Yeah, so that's slick.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe a little unfortunate that every individual tool that you use for overriding notifications has to build its own history. But anyways, it's there.
Okay. So if I want a history at all, I will turn this toggle on.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Regardless of how you feel about the UX, if you want the history feature, this is apparently the way to do it.
Share my screen, make the edits. This is the correct repository. Widget.
Beautiful. What is Astrea?
It's just a name for a mixed Vim configuration, the only one I have.
Oh, okay.
This is wrong.
All right.
Test it.
You should be in business. So you have Nix 2.29, right? But I still haven't gotten it. And I am overriding Nix to be Nix latest. So have you opted for a number rather than latest?
Hold that thought for a moment. Vim notify.
Don't forget the Lua.
This way?
Yeah, exactly.
How about I do this? Vim notify.
Oh, you've got a Lua REPL here? Slick.
Yes, yes.
Very slick.
Vim notify. Okay.
Looking good.
And can I do this here? Can I do... This is Lua, so I can't do Vim commands.
Yeah, I guess not. There's probably some way to do it, like vim.api, or I don't know.
Okay.
Looking good.
I'm okay with this. Except that it's very unattractive. It's not catching my eye.
It's unobtrusive.
Unintrusive.
How
would I even...
Well, try like warn or something. Like, I actually wait. I don't know what the vim.notify API is. Sorry.
But this tells me. Look.
Oh, it does?
I mean, it did a moment ago.
It takes
now it doesn't.
A second argument, which is the level.
Why doesn't it do it now? Oh. The REPL is not. It did just a moment ago, man.
Mm-hmm. We'll take the second argument, and it's an integer value between 0 and 5 inclusive.
Vim.notify. It did a moment ago. I saw it.
Bummer.
Okay. I mean, like this?
Yep, exactly.
Info.
Info.
What? Warn.
Yeah, it's not very obvious. So not screaming to you.
I actually might miss it. Genuinely might miss it. I almost wanted to like flash the screen or something.
Yeah.
Oh, but wait, these are not even the this is not even the color scheme that I'm using. This is because Stylix can't apply to NixVim outside of a configuration, like a home manager or Nixos configuration.
Oh, bummer.
So this is not my color scheme. This is the default NixVim color scheme.
Got it.
I'll try it.
Yeah, I mean, let me know what you decide. It's hard for me to say. I can't think of situations where I've been burned by missing a notification. Like, I haven't gone on some enormous journey of investigation only to find that it was some notification that I missed. But maybe it's stuff I haven't noticed. I think I saw that warning when I cloned your repo, or when I did a Nixlake show in your repo.
This? Okay. So, you want take a look at my my infra repo.
Okay.
And go to some file called git nix package. So
Oh
it's
wow,
just
I'm
a
on
file called nix.
0.12. Okay. Sorry, Git what?
No, sorry, nix package. Yes,
Okay.
that.
Oh. Gosh. Okay. So wonderful. Why is Nix 2.29 packaged in Nix packages but not marked as the latest version of Nix?
I don't know. I couldn't find an issue, and I
Okay.
didn't want to raise one.
Uh-huh. Well, I'm sorry if the reason you didn't want to raise one is because of fear of triggering people getting annoyed at you, or if it was just because you were not in the mood for asking questions. But
I'm there. It's not like people don't know. There's like people in charge of this, and they just didn't bother updating. Like for whatever their reasons are, it wouldn't help me knowing their reasons. They have reasons, and it will probably, that's what I figured, it wouldn't help me knowing their reasons. It would still not change the fact that it's not latest yet. I think latest doesn't really mean latest. I think they have some additional consideration.
some concept of like
Now it's
support, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea. Okay. Well, I suppose I can copy this from you, or I can just keep waiting.
Mm-hmm. No, it's straightforward. It works.
Yeah, makes sense. Very slick,
But it's
natural
you'd
sort.
have to convert to pipe function. You're not using pipe operators.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not opposed to using it in my own flake. Like, my own flake's completely unusable by other people, right? It's like doing IFD and assumes that you're using x86 because I've got that ridiculous flake input patcher stuff. So, adding pipe operators would be like the least unfriendly thing about it. So, cool. Thank you.
Welcome.
What does the word polymodule mean? It means it's a module for all sorts of, it just happens to, okay.
Yes.
I see. Clever. So they just all happen, those three separate module systems all happen to have an option called Nix.package.
And that happens to be true for quite a number of attributes across.
It's not the only place where you have a so-called polymodule. I see. Cool. Modules /wife. That's awesome. I love that your wife is on a NixOS machine.
Two of them. Recently got her a used ThinkPad.
Oh, cool.
A good deal. It's a good deal.
Nice.
ThinkPads
So now she's got a
this...
desktop and a laptop or something?
Yes. And it
if she
took her
wants a
time
piece of software, does she have to talk to you, or mostly she just browses the web and it doesn't matter?
It didn't happen much, like often.
Got it.
But yes, she would ask me, but not because she knows she doesn't have access to install stuff, but we're actually, she has Nix, she can be a Nix user, but she doesn't know how to like even approach finding a piece of software for like what she needs. She would rather ask me.
Yeah. Cool. I have a friend who he's not a coder. Like, he's a smart guy and he's like technical. He's like works at tech companies, but he's like a product manager. He's very into self-hosting. I just learned about all this recently. But he's like not a coder. He doesn't use Linux. He's like got a Windows machine that he like runs some software on. And he's been thinking about buying or building a NAS. And I was like, oh, well, if you're gonna do it in Linux, I'm happy to help you out. So he just bought all the hardware a few days ago. He's coming over this weekend, and I'm like unsure what I am gonna encourage him to do, because I've done a lot of managing of Linux machines on Ubuntu and Fedora and on Arch and a lot of Nix as well. And he's not a coder, and I just don't know if I want to steer him towards Nix or not, because it's like so intimidating to get started, even though I'm like so confident it's the best way to manage machines. I'm just like,
unfortunately, it's the best way with a set of skills as a requirement.
So I think what I'm going to do, what I did with my last friend, actually his older brother, who is a coder, his older brother wanted to like self-host a blog and some stuff. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'll help you. He was like a coder, but had never like done Linux. He was like, went to a boot camp and, got a MacBook and just got a job and started coding. Like the kind of people that, get paid to code and never like, tinkered with Linux or whatever. Then he like wanted to do some tinkering with a Raspberry Pi. I was like, yeah, I'll help you out. He's like doing containers on Ubuntu and stuff. And I was like helping him out. And I was like telling him, dude, you got to write down everything you did, because someday you're going to want to change something or like debug something. And like, then like a year later, he was like, Jeremy, I can't remember how I like set up my dynamic DNS stuff. I'm like, dude, I'm not helping you. Like, I have the skills to figure it out. Like, right, I can run the systemd commands and find the damn failing service. But I'm like, if you want my help anymore, you have to use Nix. And I felt fine with that because he was a coder. I'm wondering if I should try that strategy with this guy as well, where it's just sort of like, yeah, let him click around on an Ubuntu machine for a while, and then he'll like want to manage it headless, and maybe like encourage him to try SSH instead of like a remote desktop environment, and slowly start to poison him with the terminal. But anyways, what got me thinking about this is the fact that your wife is not a coder, but uses a Nix machine.
Yeah, we gotta make it better. Like, we're so far away. We gotta make it better for ourselves first.
Yeah.
It's not even nice. It's powerful, but it's not even nice for ourselves.
Yeah.
So make it nice for ourselves, and then we can start,
taking over the world.
Building on that. You gotta build from the inside out.
Yeah. It's just like, who's motivated to work on that, It's like, I never cared about it until I was like, oh shoot, my friend, like, he's gonna end up doing some shitty stuff on Ubuntu. He's gonna feel a bunch of pain that I'm like, So, I don't know. It seems like maybe the clan folks are interested in this problem, but they say they're gonna give a demo at NixCon this year. I'm interested to see what they're building.
I think Clan is the only attempt to reach a wider audience with Nix.
Yeah.
The only solid attempt.
Yeah. I wish them success.
Likewise. So, do you want to PR tracker? You're muted.
Oops. Yeah, let's try to remember where we left off.
Here's a screen.
We were on what, Markdown book or something in that space. Also, I am still a bit jet lagged from the travel, so I think I'm good to go for another hour. But what's our normal stop time? Oh, that is our normal. No. Okay, yeah, that's 1 hour short of our normal. So yeah, I think I have 1 more hour in me.
Let's try GH dash again.
Is that a TUI
GH
for
dash.
GitHub?
Yes.
Whoa, what is that circle?
Cool.
A pill-looking thing. The blue open thing on the right-hand side. That's some font or TUI cleverness that I'm not familiar with.
Yeah, I guess this is some kind of a round shape
Yeah.
at the edge, and then this is just background, inverting the color. It does look a bit surprising that it's possible, right? But
Yeah.
there you go.
Very cool.
Is this keyboard operated? Like, how does it work? My pull request. Is this so? This is not in any way specific to a repo, is it?
I see a repo there
It is.
in the search looking box.
Huh. My what if I want to see issues?
Don't know. I see a little task looking list thing. Oh, that's probably just a column, isn't it? Okay.
How do I edit this? Oops, escape exit. What if I search? Of course, search. Oh, be careful of escape. Okay, but I'm used to escape from. Escape. This is not Vim, not VI mode.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, is that I cannot
That's
delete
not
that.
editable. Okay. Interesting. I mean, I guess that makes sense. You are in a tab on top that says My Pull Requests.
Bottom left says PRs.
Mm-hmm. Then Issues is right next to it in some interesting way.
Sidebar tab. There's a sidebar.
Switch to Issues. S.
Where? How can I see the sidebar? The entire sidebar.
I don't know.
Oh, I just wanted to close the help. Okay. This is side. Oh, that's the sidebar, and then I can relearn everything. Switch to issues. Okay, issues.
Okay. Now that Magic Nix Cash is back, that one might actually be solvable.
Do we really run out of disk space in this project? Is that because of building VMs?
We didn't look into it.
It's pretty bad. I think we need to look into this because CI is important.
I mean, the way that we do development, it's not terribly important, I guess. If we were to get contributors, it would matter.
We release using CI.
Yeah.
And we only
But
release after
how
checks.
do we expect people to actually use our project? Because the way I used our project was as a flake input.
What does it have to do with CI running out of space?
Oh, it's just saying, you said CI is important. And I was arguing, well, the way we do development, we do the flake checks locally. And the releasing doesn't really even affect our users, right? Because like, how are people going to consume this thing? It's very likely as a flake input. So they'll just pull the latest code in main.
Or they could use a tag. We have tags.
Sure. But then they'd just be frozen. It's like...
That's not really... Yeah. We don't provide a rolling tag, like stable or anything.
Right. So I'm just like making an argument that like, yeah, maybe it's embarrassing and therefore it's worth fixing. But given that we're like trying to prove that this tool is even worth existing in the world, it's maybe like not the highest priority. But it might also just be quick to like reintroduce Magic. Like I might be spending more time talking about it than us just doing it.
I don't think Magic Nix Cache... Do you think Magic Nix Cache solves it because every dependency that is substituted means less build dependencies in the store?
Maybe. Yeah. It's like maybe we like painted ourselves into a situation with Magic Nix Cache where like so long as we kept using Magic Nix Cache things worked. But then once we dropped Magic Nix Cache, we couldn't. I don't know.
What about Nothing But Nix? Maybe.
I feel like we tried that. What's this number 256? That didn't solve it.
I don't even see numbers here. Where do you see those numbers?
On the sidebar. And number 258 doesn't seem to solve it. Wasn't that us trying out Nothing But Nix?
But where did you see it on the side? On the sidebar, it shows for the current. Oh, okay. Okay, so how do I get to 250?
Don't ask me.
Repo is open. What if I delete this open? What if I just do 258?
It's probably not an issue, right? It's probably like a PR that we abandoned.
Switch to PRs. Oh, it's S. Yes. 250. Wait, it's open? It's open.
Yeah, well, I think we tried it out. It didn't. It didn't work, and then we said, let's file an issue and come back to this later.
Oh boy. Even this did not work.
Yeah. That's what I remember, at least. Like, I don't think we looked into it very far. We were just like, let's see if this works. Oh, it didn't work. Okay, let's file an issue and move on to other stuff.
So don't you think we should fix this?
Well, like I said, I could see an argument for not bothering because, like, maybe we're going to run this experiment and in 3 months we're going to say, hey, this project's worth abandoning. It's like fixing CI doesn't seem valuable in a universe where that happens.
having a broken CI reduces our chances of success.
Well, can you break that down for me? In what way does it
In
reduce our chances of success?
the impression.
Yeah, right. So it might be worth doing because it's embarrassing. I agree. Like that to me is a compelling enough reason to do it. We're worried about somebody says, okay, let me take a look at their code. Oh, a failing check? Okay, moving on. Yeah, like I could see that.
So let's rotate and maybe look at.
But are we in the middle of anything? Like, do we have a mob branch going before we start something possibly new? I just can't remember.
I'm not sure. I don't remember that.
Okay. Get trim. Okay.
I remember us saying it's actually a good place to.
Oh, you do remember
whatever
us
it was.
leaving things in a good place?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we got to a unified manual. Nice. I remember working on that. And what is this? Okay.
And then we removed a couple of crates that did not have a good reason to exist. You
Nice.
merged them into their parents.
Cool. Okay. Got it. And then has this actually... Okay, so CI is not totally broken. Like, this is Markdown book.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Bus modules. And then we have just a single module for set of documentation for both modules. Okay. Love it. Okay. So why is this green? The release.yaml that failed?
Are there any failures on main?
Yeah, that's where I was looking. Is there a way to filter?
Mm-hmm. The top of the table. There's a drop down for doing this.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, that undid it. Whoops. Okay. Jax. Docs. Release. Okay. So release is acting up. And then maybe we don't even run check on main. Is that possible?
There it is. It's not running on main. Only on pull.
Okay. Got it. Okay. So
we don't have a problem with running out of space and check in main. We have some problem with the release.
well, we don't have any checks to look at here. Oh, right. Yeah. But if we look at like pull request checks, like for instance, the pull request, this nothing but Nix. Why did this one fail? Such and such cannot build. No space left on disk. So I guess we got two different things we can look at. One is, why do PRs fail checks? Presumably running out of space. The other is why the release is failing.
because the checks failed.
Okay, so there, we run the checks here, and then this probably, I don't know. This is maybe just bad luck. Like GitHub Actions is rotating a build instance or container or something.
Scroll right there on the error that is highlighted. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that sounds to me like it could be just bad luck. So that's one release. And then what about this one? Same thing. Bad luck 2 times in a row. Maybe.
Is there any that we can restart?
I don't know how to do that. That creates a workflow. That's not what we want.
I do.
How do you do it?
You get into a workflow run, but choose one carefully that we actually want to restart. I think one way is to, get in there and click the restart button. But okay, so the latest main.
Yep. So that would be this
that's one that we would like to restart. Let's do that. And now you have the menu there. Great. I expected that menu to. Click the check one. Maybe maybe now the menu on the top, because it is always the menu on the that menu. That's why. Or maybe it's too long ago.
Yeah, I don't know. Not a GitHub Actions expert.
Well, that's where I remember it being. Maybe the branch is gone. The branch gone. That's his name. That's strange. I don't remember this not being. Let's see one of the pull requests.
Okay, so here we
But
go.
I really want to. Oh, I see
This
the
is-
buttons. See the button?
Oh yeah, there you go.
Where is this? Which one is this? It's a pull request one.
Yeah, this is one of the checks. So maybe
What's
it's something about
difference?
Okay, this one has workflow call. This one does not. Is it that simple?
No. Workflow call is not very commonly used, and that cannot be the. I don't think that's the missing piece.
So I think we could table the release thing for the moment and try to fix the checks, or see if we can even repro the issue with the checks.
Mm-hmm. If we rebase one of our pull requests.
Okay, let's take this one.
That's a bump inputs one. Is that why it failed?
Let's see. Interesting.
See, that's what I mean by, you you don't get the same error every time because whatever race condition occurs, any particular program could tell you, "Oh, I ran out of space."
Yeah, that's fair. So this could potentially be. It's hard to tell because we can't see all the logs.
But this can be restarted.
Now, I think we could revert this, right?
Yes.
Any reason not to just do that before we do any further investigation?
Well, this is probably a useful thing to have.
Okay, so I'll revert. Oh, not quite. Okay. So we used to do this build program docs. Now we do this build program docs after this build manual. Or no, now all we do is build manual. Okay, so we just need this uses right here. That can go here. Then we build manual. All this goes away. And all that we've done here is added 3 lines of code. Does that sound reasonable?
Yes.
Git revert dash continue.
I never did that. Revert continue.
Yeah, I don't even know what it's going to do. I mean, I guess. Yeah, okay, now it gives us the revert. Okay. And then does this play nicely with our.
Commit messages?
Yeah.
Yes.
This
They
does.
support this
Wonderful.
format.
Okay.
Because
so then
it's coming directly from the default of Git revert.
Yes. Okay.
But if we wanted that revert to have an additional meaning, like as a, be a feature or even be a breaking change, we would need to do something. But I think this ends up as a chore, like the least does not affect,
Okay.
does not cause a bump.
That feels fine to me. Is that good for you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. WQ. And then I guess I'll make a BR out of this. Add magic cache back. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Now we can hurry up and wait.
In the meantime, I have picked up the statics project.
Oh yeah, you mentioned you got a commit bit on that project.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd be curious to hear your thoughts about Nick's linting. What are you?
It has about 7 or 8 lints.
Mm-hmm.
And they seem pretty straightforward lints. So I think with some work, this will end up in Nix packages, unless something is like fundamentally broken in I don't know. So it seems I didn't should also try it. Like how fast that is a processing factor.
Oh, yep. And what are your opinions on it versus the LSP we both use? Nix D? Is that what? I can't remember. Nix D?
Well, there's an overlap, but the overlap is a single rule, and actually, that rule is not in statics.
Is
It's
it the unused?
Yes.
Okay, statics doesn't
Statics does not.
detect unused stuff.
Yes.
But then has other stuff that Nix D does not detect.
Well, it's not really Nix D. It's only the same project as Nix D.
Sure. Yeah, I can't remember what it's
It's
called.
Nix F.
Tidy or something. Nix F.
Nix F tidy.
Yeah.
And its only rule is unused.
Okay. And so I guess my question is like, should the world have two separate projects here, or should they be combined?
I think like, statics is written in Rust and has 7 or 8 rules by now. I don't remember how many. And NixFtidy is written in C.
Oh, okay. Because it uses like the CPP Nix findings directly or something.
Not for linting.
Oh, okay. It's written its own. Got it.
So it's not as approachable.
I see.
I wouldn't, encourage contribution to a C++ project for linting Nix.
Got it.
Now that we have Rust.
Got it. Yeah, that makes sense.
And statics actually has an architecture document, and it has tests for all the lints, and there's a PR for introducing snapshot tests for all the fix features of all the lints.
Sweet.
And I think as soon as this project gets maintained a little better, maybe I can help with that.
Mm-hmm.
That's more than 7 or 8, right? Like that's what?
Sure.
12,
yeah,
15?
that's a whole bunch. This one is in NixD.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess there's more than one bit of overlap.
I suppose, yes, I've seen that.
Cool. Yeah, and then wrapping it up in a LSP would be nice, right?
There's a Vim plugin. I don't know what it does, but you can look inside It's not even Lua. This project has been around for a while. It seems.
Yeah.
There's a directory there. It's only a few lines, so maybe you can tell me what it does.
Oh boy, this is old school. I don't know Vim script. Okay. Apply suggestion and file type plugin. Buff write post. Make bang. Make program is statics check. Okay. Yeah. This is Vim stuff. That is old school Vim stuff. It's like when you run the make command, parse the output of it and put it in the quick fix list or something. Yeah. Neat. The modern way of doing this would be to wrap it up as an LSP, but it certainly would be more than 8 lines of code. So that's cool.
I'm sure that there's a Rust crate that lets you compose an LSP server.
Oh yeah, Tower LSP. You remember me talking to you about this one forever ago?
Now I do.
Yeah, this one was unmaintained, and then some kid started a community fork of it. So I back in business. I don't know if there are other cooler Rust things, but yeah, I found this one to be a little frustrating because I like had a PR to the original thing, which was abandoned, and then I like sent the PR here, and then he ignored it for a while, and then didn't like something about it for Rust reasons that I didn't understand. And then eventually somebody did the work, so the bug has been fixed. So it seems to be maintained. So cool. Well, you told me that it's a valuable thing. And this person is just busy.
Mm-hmm. I don't remember. He told me, go ahead, do whatever.
Cool. Well, I'm not worried about us running out of fun things to work on. Never have been.
So we're waiting for this.
And I don't even know what we're expecting. Like, you and I both sort of intuit that Magic Nix Cache doesn't seem likely to help us here, right? Like, there's nothing in the cache at this point.
And do we have the nothing but Nix news?
Not in this PR, no.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we're just expecting this to fail.
Perhaps we could, in the same branch, add another commit that adds magic, the nothing but Nix as well, and then it would increase the chances of this being reliably successful.
Sure. What will that do to this build? Will it interrupt it?
I think it'll be cancelled.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I could do... Maybe I'll rebase this on top of... Is this going to be a bad idea? Yeah, let me try this. Pull dash git rebase. Oh. Okay. So now, nothing but Nix, add GitHub action, nothing but Nix, and then it has the revert as well. So that maybe we'll get them to run in parallel.
No, I have no problem with that. As long as
Get
GitHub are okay with that.
dust off. Let's see what happens. There's that. And then there is that, which should now have 2 commits in it. Yep, there we go. And gosh, somebody had fun with this. What is this thing doing? It like, in what way are we leveraging Btrfs? Is that just what the GitHub Actions are using, or does it create a Btrfs file system?
I don't know. I remember hearing news that Btrfs was removed, or it was a decision to remove Btrfs from Linux.
Whoa.
There was the author or the maintainer of Btrfs got on Linus's nerves.
No. Chris Mason?
It wouldn't be the former because it would be the current.
It wouldn't be what, sir?
Because it was recent, so it would be the current maintainer of Btrfs that would
Oh, no, I see. He's the former.
have.
Right. Okay.
Or am I getting it? Wrong? Is it some other file system?
Is it bcachefs? That would be sad.
Oh, it's bcachefs.
Because that's the one that I'm. Oh no!
Here.
Oh no!
Did you bet on the wrong horse?
I mean, I haven't bet on it yet, but I guess I haven't started using it, but I was planning on it.
Well,
Damn.
good thing it happened before you actually
Jeez. This
started
guy got
using it.
suspended last year. Ah. Wow.
And good thing I told you.
Thank you. Oof, duh. One of the selling points of this is that it's a core part of a. Okay, well, I'll have to read up on this.
But show me the meat.
The meat?
Yeah, the
Oh,
whatever Linus wrote, the way that he phrased it.
sure. I've pulled this, but also as per that discussion, I think we'll be parting ways. In the 6.17 merge window, you made it very clear that I can't even question any bug fixes, and I should just pull up anything and everything. Honestly, at that point, I don't really feel comfortable being involved at all, and the only thing we all seemed to really fundamentally agree on in that discussion was we're done. And then this is the response from Kent Overstreet. Mm-hmm. Person who just can't accept no as an answer. What a mess.
So what are you going to do? ZFS?
Yeah, I guess it'll be
ZFS.
Btrfs or ZFS.
But ZFS is not in the kernel either, is it?
Right.
It's not have a compatible license.
Yeah.
So what is it? What are the implications of a file system not being in the kernel?
I mean, I think it means you don't get to use the latest kernels, right? You presumably have to use the kernels that are blessed by as compatible with ZFS.
Is that what I'm doing? Do I do it? Because I remember something.
Do you specify your kernel? Maybe you just say ZFS and then that specifies the kernel for you. Is that possible?
I remember something in the NixOS wiki explaining that there are ZFS kernel package. I don't remember that I'm using them.
Well, I would just sort of guess that enabling ZFS support like kernel.
Search for kernel.
Kernel modules. No.
Yeah, but if you search for ZFS in the options or in the wiki also.
Kernel packages, which we don't have. Oh, okay. Maybe there's some, I don't know what's going on there.
Package.kernel module attribute. That allows a package to specify a kernel module attribute. What's the package here?
Probably ZFS.
Search Nix packages for kernel module attribute.
Yeah, so that is defaulting to packages.zfs. And so it's probably like if you, at some point, something changed. Okay, so let's see. Kernel module attribute. How many things actually use that? Oops, that's a typo. Oh, okay. So there's a version number inside of that. Hey, kernel compatible. There we go. So this is some like Boolean. So something somewhere must like assert that your kernel is compatible with whatever ZFS you have.
This package is a kernel module?
ZFS? Yes.
So that makes sense. That there's a... This is like, imagine this in any other, like not NixOS. How do they have a check that modules are compatible with them? No, can't do that. You need a Turing complete language. Just such things.
Yeah, they probably express it with version constraints, and it probably like works in some situations. And yeah, I mean, maybe they like say maybe some distros just say we're not going to support ZFS, so they don't worry about it. And then distros that choose to support ZFS maybe like take longer to, maybe just always only release kernels that support it or something. Or versions of kernels where the ZFS out of tree module has already been updated to support that kernel. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. ButterFS or ZFS, I guess, but I was not excited about learning either of them. Should probably do ZFS. Okay, so this one failed quickly, which is interesting. The nothing but Nix. Process exited with blah. There we go. No space left on disk. And then this one, I'm gonna do a refresh. Seems to be chugging along.
Surprising.
So
what the...
This one failed building the dApps, whereas this one did successfully build the dApps. So, I mean, it could just be roll of the dice.
Well, yeah. Well, maybe one built the dApps and uploaded them.
Well, this one certainly didn't succeed. Yeah, I don't think that happened here, because this one failed. This one tried to build it and failed. And then the other one built it and succeeded.
Oh.
It'd be nice to have timestamps here. Yes, this one ran for a good chunk of time. 7, 9, like 9 minutes or so, almost 10.
Mm-hmm. So
I mean,
even with all that nothing but Nick's benefits,
well, I mean, it kind of feels like the nothing but Nix actually hurt, right?
yeah, kind of. It's like, maybe we can try it with its defaults instead of.
It's not a very scientific experiment, I'd say, but oh, nice noting but Nix. Okay. Git show.
I think that's me.
So just delete these 3 lines of code.
The witness carnage, I think, means that it'll be blocking. And otherwise it won't be blocking, which is like not strictly reliable, but okay most of the time.
By default, it executes silently in the background, but if you want to watch the slaughter in real time, I don't
It means
understand what that
blocking,
means.
right?
Yeah, but what does that mean in like GitHub Actions terms? It like
So background process. Because
yeah.
steps are, I think a
Oh, this
step
is just
can.
about noise. This is just about what gets printed, right? Isn't this just about like whether stuff gets printed or not? This doesn't sound like it's about blocking.
Maybe it's not blocking.
The word witness certainly just sounds like.
Sure. I didn't quite check, but
Okay, there's not a lot of code here. Let's see. Displaying the carnage in real time. This will block until completion. So, okay, there's the word block. Oh, okay. So yeah, you're right. It is about when this, but when does this thing run? Isn't this
when
like
the
a background job already?
step. No, it's a
Oh, it's a
synchronous step.
one-time thing. Oh, I thought there was like a runs in the background and does garbage collection or something crazy.
Oh no.
Okay, I don't know why. While background rampage. While your workflow continues, we ruthlessly eliminate unnecessary software. I think I'm confused about this. While your workflow continues. So
yeah, because it's it's spawning. Here's the amp.
Okay.
And that's it.
Okay. So by default, if you don't turn on witness carnage, then it does this thing which runs in the background. And I guess my mental model of GitHub Actions is now like flawed. Like this is a bash process that has now a child process running in the background of the bash process, but like that bash process doesn't make it to here, right? Like the bash process has to finish.
Is that how bash works?
Well, I mean, this is an easy test, I suppose, right? Yeah, bg test.sh, hashbang user bin and bash, and then like sleep 10 echo bg task done echo start bg task boom, and like chmod plus x oops dot slash bg.
There you go. You got prompts.
Yeah, but the task isn't running. Oh, there it is. It finished. Okay. All right. So it gets like, okay. All right. It's like the child process doesn't get reaped, and so it gets reparented or whatever. All right, that's fine. And then I guess like my mental model of GitHub Actions is just incomplete. It's like, what are these called? Steps?
Steps.
So do these steps like,
Synchronous. Their list.
yeah, but like concretely in like Linux terms, processes that like start in one step can still be running when you start another step. Like,
Apparently.
yeah, that's surprising to me. I mean, like, I guess it makes sense, but my mental model for these steps was more like, like Docker sort of stuff where it's like you start a container, you run the thing, and then you stop the thing. And in that universe, there aren't any processes persisting.
That I think the question would be raised: why do we need multiple steps if they're all just shell scripts? We could write one shell script.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not all shell scripts. Right? One step can be a GitHub action that's used in place.
Yeah.
So, but it appears that if they are, I mean, I hope this is tested. What can I say, right?
Yeah, I'm like not so. Does this actually work the way the author thinks it works? I mean, yeah. It's like I'm definitely not knowledgeable enough about GitHub Actions.
But the author provided so much details.
Yeah.
They have a table where they can show you for every combination of options what you reclaim. So like, how could this not be tested?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But that's why I used the witness the carnage option, because I wanted to put that out of the picture.
Right. I get it.
And then maybe disable, let it be the default when I see that it's working.
Yep. I get it. I agree. Having witnessed the carnage set to true makes my brain itch a lot less. So let's leave it set to true. And then this hatchet protocol will remove and use whatever the default is. Okay.
Maybe there's something about Rampage that also is like wrong and then counterproductive. Certainly different actions are performed, so
okay. And
I like the whimsical style of the documentation, albeit not at the expense of clarity.
yeah, it's a style I'm not used to seeing. So it's a little off-putting for me. But it certainly seems like they had fun building it. RMZ. Okay. Fascinating. Alrighty, and how's our other one doing? Okay, it succeeded. All right. So do we even want to look at this anymore? Like,
Well, I kind of want to see it succeeding without cache at all. Like the worst circumstance, you ran out of cache. Because
yep,
GitHub does purge your cache sometimes,
yep, yeah.
periodically.
And presumably this run had an empty cache, right? Because like we haven't had Magic Nix cache enabled. There's a button to clear the cache, isn't there? Somewhere.
Is there?
Thought there
I
was.
saw one. Artifact and log retention. That's not a
I think
cache.
that's different. Manage caches via the UI. Actions caches.
Is there no link to?
Really? Actions. There it is. Okay, so you probably go to actions, management, caches. There it is. Yeah. Okay. So, we could delete these and rerun, but I mean, hopefully this kind of proves.
But they're small. Good.
Oh, that's fair. They are tiny.
Why? Why is there two caches with the same key?
$258, $261, or those are two. $258 is the nothing but Nix, and the other ones probably are just plain. Yeah, $261 is just adding Magic Nix cache. So that's the nothing but Nix plus Magic Nix cache. And that's just Magic Nix cache. And why is it two separate things with the same name? I feel like
This is
I
a
was
cache key.
subscribed to, what was it, Determinate? I feel like they talked about this as a confusing thing in that
Really?
pull request that fixed this thing. Because I was subscribed to this, and so I read all
Mm-hmm.
the messages as they went by. Seemed to work great. There does seem to be a minor bug where it will re-upload already cached paths. Yep. So there's an example of what we're talking about. But I don't remember if that happened with the original and we can fix it later. I believe I saw that again. Here you go. Don't cache fresh copies of previously cached content. Seems to be caching many copies of the same nar, differing only in random suffix. Although I don't think ours are.
That's it.
Actually, maybe they are
It's,
differing in random suffix, but they have the same cache name. Like if we clicked through, actually, I don't even know how you can see what's in this cache. Okay, I guess this person did a decent amount of investigation before they filed this.
yeah, and it might not be a big problem for us.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm subscribed to it, but I think the answer is this does work from a cold cache.
So why did it? So
And now the
nothing but
question
Nix
maybe is like,
actually failed, right?
say that again, sorry.
Nothing but Nix made it fail.
Well,
Cause
but
of failure.
haven't we also Like, what if I just created a PR that didn't do anything to our CI infrastructure? Would it succeed or fail? Like, is Magic Nix Cache somehow magically helping here? Or is it like we got unlucky once or twice and then we started playing around with,
But what's luck got to do with it?
I don't know, yeah, there's probably no luck. I don't have a mental model where luck would matter. So ignore that thought.
What I can imagine, if you take a look at the documentation of Nothing But Nix, there is something about, like, there's more than one volume, and it's like, see, it's trying to expand our Nix volume, but it's like taking from the root, I think, something. That's where Bcachefs is like.
I think it uses Btrfs. Yeah.
Search for root. You see that? Safe havens, you see those? There's like root and mount, and maybe we're running out of root.
Okay.
It by default, it reduces root to 2 gigs.
Yeah. So maybe like, right? Doing a Nix build does put something in /temp.
I don't know what mount is. What are we even using mount? Like,
Yeah, I don't know.
What is happening in the file system of the runner?
I have
We need
no idea what it would be doing with /mount. Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying if not, this would explain one theory why Nothing But Nix actually causes a failure, because it's reducing root.
Yeah.
And mount, and we end up running out of space in one of those.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, unless you have some particular interest in like understanding more about this, I am fine with just merging the Magic Nix Cache thing and saying, hey, if we run into issues in the future, we'll dig into them.
Yeah, but we have no expectation that this solves the problem.
Right.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
But it will trigger a run of the release job, which will be interesting to see.
Mm-hmm.
You okay with me hitting the merge button here?
This has one commit with
One
the
commit.
revert that we have solved the conflict. Okay.
That is correct. Merge PR. Okay. Here we go. And then I suppose I should say something here. This.
I don't know what can we say about that particular PR, because
We dug into this a bit. Discovered that the following. Adding
I don't think we discovered anything conclusive about Magic Nix Cache.
Yeah. APR with Magic Nix Cache and what is it?
Nothing But Nix.
Nothing but Nix seems to run out of disk space.
It would help if cache is available, if cache is warm, right?
Yeah. How's that sound?
Yeah, sure.
And then I'm gonna say abandoning this as it doesn't seem to help. See.
I said yeah, sure, but I meant no. It's actually well written.
Oh, thank you. All right. So that's kind of the like shrug approach, and we get to say we did something until it comes back and bites us in the ass. But I don't think we made things worse by adding Magic Nix Cache. I just agree with you that it doesn't seem like we actually fixed any fundamental disk space issues. Okay, and on that note, I think I'm ready to call it a night.
All right.
This PR failed mysteriously. Can we like rebase it or something? What are the tools we have?
Yeah, at the bottom, there's this update branch, but do it with rebase instead of
Awesome. Okay, we'll see if that helps at all. All right.
Good work, Jeremy.
You do.
Thank you for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, and even sponsor. Till next time, be well.
Bye.